Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Such a huge fighting game, maybe even the biggest one. How many characters are there? Well, if you add them all up, including the 5 unrevealed Fighter Pass 2 characters, there will be around almost 90 characters. About like 88 or something. That is insane. And it got me thinking, how are they going to continue the Smash series after this? They'd have to do like a soft reboot. And if they do a soft reboot, there's no way we're getting this many characters in it. So today, I'll be cutting a good portion of the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate roster. Now how we're doing this is we're going to go by appearance, similar to how it's like on the roster and on the website. The original 12 will be one category, and then Melee newcomers, and then Brawl newcomers, Smash 4 newcomers, and then Ultimate newcomers. But all the Echo Fighters will be paired with their characters. For example, the original 12 for this video will be the original 13 because Dark Samus is being paired with Samus. Anyways, before we get started, you know what to do. Be sure to like this video, subscribe for new, turn on notifications, and leave a comment. You'll be a little subscriber. So now we start off with the original 12 plus Dark Samus. And funny enough, I think they all return, aside from Dark Samus. Now, I actually don't plan on cutting all the Echo Fighters because that would just get too easy, but I also do plan on cutting most of them. As cool as I think it is that Dark Samus is here, I'm cutting her because she really doesn't differ at all from Samus, aside from aesthetics. However, the original 12 stay because they are the Smash icons, and a lot of them are also Nintendo icons, but one thing they should do is change them up a bit. At least, like, something like change Mario's cape to Cappy. That's just an example of a longtime veteran that should be changed. Now we get to the Melee newcomers. We start off with Peach and Daisy, because Daisy's Peach's Echo Fighter. And it's quite obvious that Peach stays, but I'm keeping Daisy too. I know I said that Dark Samus leaves because she's pretty much the same thing as Samus, and the same can absolutely be said about Peach and Daisy, but Daisy is very iconic, and the more I think about it, she seems like a clone of Peach that should have been in the game since Brawl. Bowser stays, because I don't really need to explain that one. Next up is Ice Climbers, who I'm gonna cut. I had the 4 retro jokey characters, Ice Climbers, Mr. Game & Watch, Rob, and Duck Hunt, and I wanted to keep 2 of them. And as great as it is to see the Ice Climbers back in Ultimate, I'm just cool with getting rid of them if it's to clear up the roster. Sheik and Zelda, I'm keeping Zelda but cutting Sheik, because Sheik started as the only reason anyone would really play Zelda in Melee, and then I guess in Brawl. And then they separated in Smash 4, but Sheik was still the better one. But now we get to Ultimate, and Zelda is now finally pretty good, and Sheik can't even fucking kill. I just feel like Sheik is a character we can just get rid of when cutting down the roster. Dr. Mario, Pichu, and Young Link, all the semi-clones that skipped Brawl, and some of them skipped Smash 4, they all get cut because they're all semi-clones and are really only in Ultimate because it's everyone is here, and I honestly think we can do without them. Falco, this one was tough, because Falco seems like a character that should really be here, but then it may be him up against Wolf, and Wolf is pretty cool. It would make more sense to keep Falco, but I'm actually cutting Falco for reasons I'll get into when we get to Wolf. Marth, and by extension Lucina. Now, I am going to be cutting a lot of Fire Emblem characters, at least a good number of them. So Marth stays because he's sort of the mascot of Fire Emblem, and Lucina leaves because although she is better Marth, gotta cut down the Fire Emblem characters. 2 birds with 1 stone. Ganondorf and Mewtwo, since they're both next to each other in the roster order. And they both stay. Ganondorf because he's an iconic villain, and Mewtwo because he's one of the most iconic Pokemon. More Fire Emblem with Roy and by extension Chrom. Roy stays because he's also pretty iconic and, you know, he's our boy, but mainly because of the fact that Chrom stays. Now I know what you're probably thinking. Oh, DPX, you're only keeping Chrom because he's your main. Yeah, well, that and, it would have hurt too much to cut Chrom. But to be honest, Chrom might be one of the most popular Fire Emblem characters, and that was before he was in Smash, and he's probably the most unique Echo Fighter, aside from maybe Ken. But if he wasn't my main, he'd be cut, but he stays because he's my main. And to close out the Melee characters, we got Mr. Game & Watch, who stays because he just represents a certain time period for Nintendo that you don't really see talked about or represented in many other ways. Now we get to the newcomers from Brawl, and we start off with Meta Knight, and we'll kill two birds with one stone and do DDD as well, and they both stay simply because they are Sakurai's children and they almost feel like characters that have to be here, or really should. Pit, and by extension Dark Pit. Pit stays, but Dark Pit can go because I honestly thought he was the most disposable character in Smash 4. Zero Suit Samus. She can actually go as well because I didn't want to remove her, but she's probably next in line after Dark Samus from Metroid. Wario stays, and then we got Snake, who seems like a tricky one. You may think that obviously Snake goes, but you should probably understand that this is Konami we're talking about, and they love to make money, and having Snake and Metal Gear representation in Smash makes them money. I understand this is gonna kinda be a soft reboot, and a character like Snake from an M-rated series will be a strange character to include in such, but I feel like in a soft reboot, you should still show how long of a way the Smash roster has come and include a character like Snake to show the diversity of the roster. Diversity as in where the characters come from. The next three are pretty easy. Ike, Pokemon Trainer, and Diddy Kong all stay, but then we get to Lucas, who I was very torn on. And I didn't want to cut, but I ended up cutting him because we need to make cuts. If there was room for a few more characters to stay, Lucas would probably be one of them. Sonic stays because he's iconic, and Nintendo and Sega are buddies. And he made it into Brawl due to fan demand alone. Next up are Olimar and Lucario, and they both get cut because I honestly forget that these two are in the game sometimes. Rob stays because he's a character not like any other, as he's a toy. And also, he's robotic. Not too many other characters are robotic like him. Toon Link gets cut because if we're cutting down the roster, there should really only be one Link. Or at least not three. But we cut Young Link, and we're cutting Toon Link, so there's gonna be one Link. And I said I'll get to Wolf, and the reason I'm keeping Wolf but not Falco is because Wolf is more different from Fox than Falco is. So I think the more unique one should stay. As much as it hurts to get rid of Falco, and as much as Falco seems like a mainstay for Smash, I'm going with Wolf. I'm sorry. Just like Lucas though, if there is room for more characters to keep, Falco would probably be one of them. Now we move on to Smash 4, and we start off with Villager, and I think he easily has to return because Animal Crossing is just huge, and it would be foolish to not keep the main character. Mega Man, and we'll do Pac-Man at the same time, and they both stay for similar reasons as Sonic. They both fit, they're both highly requested, and Capcom and Namco are good buddies with Nintendo. Wii Fit Trainer is a character I feel can go because she's just here, and the creativity with this character is certainly there. But if you're gonna reboot the roster and cut characters, Wii Fit Trainer just seems like an easy choice to get rid of. Next is Rosalina and Luma, and I'll also cover Bowser Jr. with her too. I'll cut both of them because they honestly don't need to be here if you're clearing up the roster. I actually remember both being very highly requested for Smash 4 and being pretty happy that they got in. And Koopa Kid swaps are pretty cool in the case of Bowser Jr., but aside from that, we can do without them. Little Mac is a bit tricky for me, as he's never particularly been the most fun to play, so losing him won't be that much of a blow in that regard. But his inclusion alone, and also the fact that, like Pit, he's also both a retro and modern character at the same time, makes me like him more. Plus, he's a boxer, which is quite interesting and unique for Smash, so we're keeping Little Mac. Greninja was tricky too, and it was between him and Incineroar, but Greninja is getting cut because he also seems like a character I think we can do without, and I'll get into why I chose Incineroar instead of him when I get to Incineroar. The Miis are staying. I don't think I need to explain this one. They're the Miis. Palutena is also staying because while she's a side character that I think can go either way, and I also fucking hate going against Palutenas online, I'm just leaning more towards yes for her. Robin stays because he was the first very unique Fire Emblem character. Not only that, what other character in Smash uses spells? Yeah, Robin's cool. Shulk stays too because Xenoblade is becoming a big franchise for Nintendo, and I'm sure Nintendo wants to keep pushing it by including Shulk in Smash. Duck Hunt leaves because while he's pretty funny, and I would have never thought of this to be honest, he just seems like a character we can do without. To be honest though, you can make an argument as to why any of the 4 retro Joe characters should stay and why any of them should leave. I just happen to pick Ice Climbers and Duck Hunt. Now we get to Ryu and his Echo Ken, and I thought of a problem where you have a soft reboot and you shouldn't include such advanced and unique characters with inputs and all that, but similar to Snake, you should probably diversify the roster in terms of uniqueness, if that makes any sense. But I just don't know about Ryu, Ken, and Terry making it back, like all 3 of them. So I'm keeping Ryu, but I'm cutting Ken, because I want to keep Terry. We'll get into that later. As much as I love Cloud, Square Enix is very stingy when it comes to Final Fantasy content, and apparently, because of this, Cloud almost didn't make it into Ultimate, thus almost ruining Everyone Is Here. This is why there's barely any Final Fantasy representation aside from Cloud and the Midgar stage. So in terms of just all content, losing Cloud would probably be the weakest blow. So Cloud goes. Corrin goes too because in my opinion, out of all the Fire Emblem characters, even counting the Echoes, Corrin kinda seems like the least necessary. He was in the game to promote Fate, but we already had 2 new Fire Emblem characters in the base roster for Smash 4, and another returning as DLC, so Corrin can go. And to close out the Smash 4 characters, we have Bayonetta, who was tough for me, but I think she can go, because the fact that she was apparently the winner of the fighter ballot, something of which we still do not have official results for, and the fact that it's also very doubtful Bayo actually won, and the fact that I think we can do without her, makes me cut her. Last but not least, here are the Ultimate newcomers. Like the newcomers in Ultimate, but they are pretty Ultimate. Okay, let's move. We start off with Inkling, and she obviously stays for the same reason Shulk stays, and that's cause, similar to Xenoblade, Splatoon is becoming a big franchise for Nintendo. Ridley stays too, because honestly, if you're gonna have 2 Metroid characters, it's really Samus and Ridley, not Samus and Zero Suit. Now we get to Simon and Richter, and similar to Snake, Konami loves money. Hell, Why do you think there is so much Castlevania representation with 2 characters, not just 1, 2, a stage, over 30 music tracks, many spirits, an assist trophy, an item, and a boss? Well, the first reason is because Castlevania is fucking awesome. But the other reason is that Konami loves money, so having Castlevania representation in Smash gives them money. However, I doubt we'll see both Simon and Richter return. And if there is going to be one, it's gonna be Simon. Although Simon takes moves from Richter's game of origin, Simon is Mr. Castlevania. King K. Rool stays because, if you ask me, he should have been in a long time ago. Isabelle stays because while Villager is the main character of Animal Crossing, Isabelle is probably the mascot. So I think you should really keep both. I said I'll get into Incineroar and why he stays instead of Greninja, and that's really just because I think Incineroar brings a lot more to the table than Greninja does with auto-taunting and stuff like that. And he's just more energetic and everything, and has more personality, and he's a wrestler, so that's always cool. Piranha Plant gets cut because while this is just so stupid and funny, I can't really say he deserves to be brought back instead of other characters. Joker is a fan favorite, but he's also another character I just can't really see coming back in a soft reboot. As cool as it is to see him in Smash, I highly doubt this will extend into other Smash games. Hero is interesting, as while he's owned by Square Enix and they were very stingy with Cloud and Final Fantasy content, they were surprisingly less stingy with Hero and Dragon Quest content. However, Square is still stingy, and while Hero is very unique and has a much better chance of returning than Cloud, I'd say his chances are still pretty slim, so I'm cutting him. Banjo-Kazooie seems like a character we can do without, but then you think for 2 seconds and you realize that they're one of the most highly requested Smash characters of all goddamn time. And I am certain Nintendo, Microsoft, and Rare all know this. Plus, Nintendo and Microsoft have a good relationship, so because of all of that, it's pretty safe to say Banjo will return. Now, I already established earlier that Terry stays, but that's because he represents a niche series, being Fatal Fury and I guess you can say King of Fighters, and I'm sure both Nintendo and SNK know how niche SNK's series are in certain regions like the States. So to help out, it's smart to have Terry in Smash. And also because he's my 3rd main. So some bias too. Now we get to the most controversial Smash character when it comes to the reveal, and that's Byleth, and is getting cut kinda for that reason. Now it wasn't like, oh, Byleth, yeah, I don't want to see him again, because it was between him and Robin. And though Byleth uses weapons not usually used in Smash, the backlash met with Byleth makes me pick Robin instead. Robin just went a lot smoother. And last but certainly not least, Min Min stays, because just like Shulk in England, Min Min represents a new Nintendo franchise in ARMS. So we end with a character returning. So that was this video of cutting the Smash Ultimate roster. You want to see how it looks now? Boom! This is the roster, every character that will return in the next Smash game, according to this video. And we got this roster, which it looks like Smash 4 almost, but then you realize there will still be more characters in this. There will be newcomers. But I'm sure you can argue with my picks in this video. So you let me know what characters you would cut. Maybe don't go through the whole roster like I did, but I don't know, maybe like if you disagree with my choices to keep some characters or to get rid of some characters, please let me know. I'm sure I'll get some comments about Snake, Falco, and Crumb specifically. Alright, see you guys.